everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you didn't already. I post every day of the week for a while, and today I'm going to do the this or that tag in knitting edition. So I thought this would be a fun tag to do because it'd be a fun little tag to get to know anybody who knits and they have things they prefer about knitting. So I'm going to get started. There's 25 questions, and if you would like to do this tag, I'll put all the questions down below, and I'm going to get started. And here we go. So question number 1, Red Heart or Pattons? I go with Red Heart. I love Red Heart. It's one of my favorite brands. I've been using them ever since I first started knitting. I keep a lot of their yarns in my stash and everything, and I think it's a super great yarn to work with because it's super fun to knit with. And it's been one of my favorite yarns since I first started knitting and crocheting, just because I like the amount you get in the ball of yarn. I think you get so much, which I really like. Question number 2, Lionbrand or Sugar and Cream? I mainly go by Lionbrand because it's one of my favorite yarn companies. Again, I've been using them also since I first started knitting. I really enjoy a lot of their yarns, and I love working with them. I think they're great yarns, and I love the textures they have, the different types of colors you get from them. I think it's an amazing yarn company, and I'm really glad to be knitting with a lot of their yarns. Question number 3, metal or wood needles? For me, I prefer metal needles just because I feel like the tips last longer. They don't shave down really quickly like a lot of the wood ones do, or wear out super quick, and they're a lot easier for my stitches to glide on. And because I hate working with wood needles because I feel like it's harder to move my stitches up because they kind of get stuck because of the wood, and I don't really like that. But I think metal needles are just easier for me just because it makes it easier for me to get my stitches off onto the other needle. Question number 4, circular or double pointed needles? I prefer circular needles just because I think it's just like when I work with double pointed needles, the end of the needles always get in the way, and it kind of drives me crazy, and I have to keep switching from one needle to another. And this one I can always keep and I worry about my stitches coming off a lot. Even if I put them connected, they kind of slip out. But I think these are just much easier for me to work with just because I don't have to worry about my stitches coming off when I'm knitting, or it kind of poking out a lot. And I really like that. Question number 5, plastic or metal needles? Metal tapestry needles. Metal tapestry needles for me because I feel like they don't bend or break easily, because I feel like if you use plastic it'll bend or break easily, and it's a lot easier to get the needle through rather than using a plastic needle, because the plastic needles sometimes are so big that they're hard to get through when you're sewing. Question number 6, double pointed or long cable? For me, that kind of depends. If I can't find any metal double pointed needles, I just use a long cable, but it depends on like what pattern I'm doing. Like sometimes I will change my long cable because I do have a pair of interchangeable needles. Here are my interchangeable needles. I got this off Amazon, so it kind of depends. Usually if I don't have the size I need in double pointed needles, I just use my interchangeable needles. And normally I don't like doing the magic loop method, but sometimes if I don't have the right size double pointed needles, I just use this. Question number 7, crochet hook or tapestry needle? That depends. Like, if I'm sewing, I'll use my tapestry needles, but if I'm weaving in my ends, I normally just use a crochet hook because I don't always leave long enough tails to always weave in, so I just use my crochet hook, and I find it much easier to weave my shorter tails in with a crochet hook. But if I do have long enough yarn, I will use my tapestry needle, but I mainly use my tapestry needles only for sewing my pieces together if I need to sew it together. Question number 8, stockinette or garter stitch? For me, stockinette, just because I like the garter stitch. It's one of my favorite stitch. It's a really nice stitch, but I think it's too boring just with all the ridges because I like to add a little bit more to my knitting, and I like the look of a stockinette stitch because I think it looks really good. Don't get me wrong, I do like the garter stitch. I think it's great for scarves, but I prefer the stockinette just because I like the look of the little V's, and then on the back side it has little bumps. Question number 9, interchangeable needles or separate pair of circular needles? Interchangeable. I think it's just much easier if I'm switching needles because it is, for me, it's such a pain to get to transfer all my stitches from a regular circular needle from one regular circular needle to another one because I got to pull the cord out and then I got to knit with a new pair of needles. So it is a little bit hard for me, but honestly, I think it is kind of worth it, but worth it to try it out. If you like that, that's totally fine. I personally just don't really like switching regular circular needle from one pair of circular needles to another because I find it a little bit too wobbly and it's really hard for me to do. So that's why I use my interchangeable needle kit that I got online. If you guys want to try out the Boyer Needle Master kit, I will put the link to that kit down below. They do have it. It is $30-something, but it is worth it. It makes an easiest way to change needle sizes for me. Question number 10, Lionbrand Woolies Thick and Quick or Loops and Threads Cozy Wool? For me, Lionbrand Woolies Thick and Quick just because I love how it looks and it comes in so many different amazing colors and it's great for me to knit my snoods. Question number 11, Joanne's or Michael's? Maybe Joanne's because it's just closer, a little bit closer to where I live, and it's sometimes a bit cheaper depending on if, sometimes their yarns are a bit cheaper. Question number 12, Hobby Lobby or Walmart? For me, Hobby Lobby, just because they have a better selection of yarn. And don't get me wrong, I think Walmart does have pretty good yarn selections, but I prefer Hobby Lobby because I just think they have a better selection of yarn. Question number 13, plastic or metal needles? For me, again, metal needles because I think they're just easier to work with. Question number 15, beanies or headbands? Beanies because I like how they look on me. Question number 16, snoods or scarves? Maybe scarves. I'm not a big snood wearer. I prefer scarves because like I think I love the way they look just hanging down. And I think it adds a little, and I think it looks, it's a nice look. And snoods are cute too. I like snoods, but I think they look better on my mom. Question number 17, infinity scarf or regular scarf? For me, a regular scarf just because I like the look of it hanging down and you get to see more of the pattern. Question number 16, fingerless gloves or mittens? Fingerless gloves because they're much easier. Question number 17, cable needle or double pointed needle? Usually double pointed needles for me, but if I don't have one, I will use a long cabled needle. But I think double pointed needles are just easier just because it's easier to accommodate the stitches. Question number 18, wear knitter's wool or wool in the gang? Maybe wool in the gang just because I feel like they're like, it's just a little bit cheaper, because if you and it is expensive to get the wear knitter's wool because you got to get it transferred from Spain. Question number 19, 1x1 rib or 2x2? I like the 1x1 rib. For me, I really just prefer the look of a 1x1 rib, which I have right here. Right here on this hat. This is my Edelweiss beanie. I just like the look of it just because I think it makes the hat look a lot cuter than a 2x2 rib. I like the 2x2 rib and it's nice, but it's just, I just like the look of a 1x1 rib better for me. Question number 20, variegated yarn or solid colors? Mainly solid colors because I really like the look of them. I also like the look of variegated colors, but I just prefer solid colors because I'm used to working with more solid colors. Question number 21, Vanna's Choice or Color Made Easy? Maybe Color Made Easy because I've used it a lot more than Vanna's Choice. I haven't used Vanna's Choice in so long. Well, I just recently did use it to make a Edelweiss beanie, but I just like this stuff because it's a little bit thicker than Vanna's Choice. Question number 22, Caron Simply Soft or Yarn Bee Soft Secret? Maybe Caron Simply Soft just because It's one of my favorite yarns, and I think it comes in a bit more than the Yarn Bee Soft Secret does. Question number 23. Bernat Softy Baby or Yarn Bee or Baby Bee Sweet Delight? Maybe Bernat Softy Baby, because I like the look of the shine to it. Question number 24. Bulky or worsted weight yarn? Maybe worsted weight yarn, just because I like how it looks in knitting. Question number 25. Larger or smaller knitting needles? Mainly smaller knitting needles, just because I like the way my stitches look. I also like using bigger needles, but it usually depends on what my pattern is calling for. But mainly if I'm knitting, I will use smaller knitting needles, but it usually depends on what project I'm doing. Like if I'm doing Snoods, I will do bigger needles, but it mainly I just usually use whatever yarn that whatever size my yarn recommends, mainly because I think it looks better and stuff. But sometimes you can go up on a few needle sizes. It doesn't really matter. Mainly I will use smaller, but it usually just depends on my pattern. Okay, so that was the knitting this or that tag. I hope you guys liked the video. I apologize this video is so long, but thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day of the week for a while, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!